Welcome to the MLB show on the Solder on Sports Podcast Network, live on YouTube, on X, and Total Apex Media X. We are back 2 games down in the World Series. Hopefully, 5 more left to go. Doesn't matter whether you're Dodgers fan, Blue Jays fan, baseball fan. Actually, it does matter. But as a baseball fan, I think 7 games is what we want anytime you're a sports fan. Championship Series. Hopefully lots of baseball left. I am Mark Sauter. He is Tom. It is great to be back with you after a wonderful weekend of baseball. Nice day off yesterday. Catch up on some football. Catch up on some hockey. Got to spend some rare time with my family, so that was nice. They remember me still. Always a good feeling. And we are back talking baseball. Tom, how we feeling on a Monday? A World Series Monday.
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good. I mean, I think after what's been a really good playoffs overall in terms of entertainment value, that's continuing. Games 1 and 2 both kind of followed the same script, different outcomes, but close games, very tightly contested, a couple of mistakes here and there. The score at the end doesn't look like they were that close. I mean, especially 11-4, but they were close games for the majority of the games. They've been well played for the majority of the games, and we're crucially for. I don't think that there are many neutral observers. Either you like the Dodgers or you hate them. But for anybody just watching this without a rooting interest, for anybody whose rooting interest is more mild. If you're a Mariners fan and you maybe hate them both, at least the baseball's been good, it's been good. Yeah,
no, 100%. Lots to dive into there with what you just said. Before we do, first round, now we are out at 7:00 tonight, short and sweet. 25 minutes. We're just going to get after it, so I won't take long on this, but I have to let you know that this show is brought to you by First Round Collectibles. Right now, promo code SPORTS10 for 10% off any sports card in the entire First Round Collectibles store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off selected cards, which means with promo code SPORTS10, you get up to 60% off selected cards in the First Round Collectibles store. So go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Promo code SPORTS10 for up to 60% off selected cards. And Total Apex Sports, Total Apex Media. Always a pleasure them having us on board with them. We appreciate it. Always hockey, football, basketball, baseball, whether you just want to know about the games, whether you want to learn about the teams, whether you want a betting angle. I think they have a link to Terry Rozier's picks. So that's always a plus. And DFS, fantasy, they have it all. And Total Apex Media is a whole other thing. They have everything you want going on over there as well. Total Apex Sports, Total Apex Media. All right. So I'm curious if you are because you're right about the neutral observer thing, dude. I feel like maybe last World Series was probably the same. I mean, Dodgers and Yankees, the two hated, what's the word? Empires in the MLB.
The evil empire and the evil empire, yeah.
Right. But this one, I feel like, you either are a Dodgers fan or you cheer for the underdog, and you hate the Dodgers at the same time, right? Happy Sports Equinox, Joe. Appreciate you, Joe, my co-host, of course, for the NFL show. We'll be back on Wednesday. But I find this curious, man. Like, I like listening to neutral media. I like listening to objective media. On this podcast network, every co-host that comes on with me and myself, we make no bones about who we cheer for, but I feel like we are as objective as humanly possible. I just feel like 9 out of 10 Dodgers media is like if this game goes 6 games, if this series goes 6 games, it'll be a miracle. Like, I just feel like everybody is still riding this. Like, there's no way the Dodgers don't win this series. And if you listen to Blue Jays media, it's all about the case for the Blue Jays. I feel like this is a really evenly matched series, man. One way or the other, you have pitching against the best hitting, and we saw both of those things over the weekend. We saw the Jays' strategy is to get to the bullpen. It worked to a T on Friday night, and the Dodgers is keep the starter in long enough to get the bats going, which, by the way, the bats for the Dodgers all postseason haven't been that great. Right. Like, they've been okay. The two guys who hit home runs, Will Smith and Muncy, that was the 5th and 6th home run by somebody not named Teoscar or Shohei. So right. All postseason. So how do you feel now that we are 2 games in? I think we've seen the best of the Blue Jays, the best of the Dodgers. Maybe not the best, but what we expected from both teams. Right. So how do we feel now? We're 2 games in. The books are actually more in favor of the Dodgers now than they were before first pitch on Friday night. Not by a lot. It was plus 190 for the Blue Jays, minus 230 for the Dodgers. Now it's minus 240 and plus 198. So not huge. Quickly before you go, the Dodgers, our guy Jordan, as always, coming in hot. Dodgers momentum is going high, but I think the Jays could win in 7. And this is what the playoffs are, is you ride the game by game wave, right? Whatever happens the previous game, that's how we feel going forward. It's going to be a 7-game series. I'm right there with you, Jordan. Tom, how do we feel, man? 2 games into the World Series.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the preview to the World Series, right? Like the Dodgers pitching, how much of it was that the Dodgers pitching was unstoppable, and how much of it was in the NLCS that the Milwaukee Brewers, who are pretty comparable to the Jays offense in terms of approach and success over the course of the year, how much it was that they just kind of laid an egg. And I think we came down on the side of it was somewhere in between, right? The Dodgers pitching is fantastic, so it's not fair to completely blame the Brewers for not showing up, but also at the same time, I mean, they did kind of let them off the hook, right? And I think that's exactly what we've seen through the first 2 games. The Jays were able to jump on Blake Snell in game 1. Didn't score on him right away, but made him work, got him out of the game, right? He didn't have his best command in that game. But how much of that is that he didn't have his best command, and how much of that is that the Jays were just putting pressure on him, forcing him into the zone, forcing him out of the zone, right? And punishing his mistakes.
29 pitches in the first inning, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what you want to see, right? And then, of course, that game, the Dodgers bullpen, the soft underbelly of the Death Star. I'm not really up on my Star Wars or whatever, Star Trek, Star Wars lore. There's like a hole in the Death Star that you shoot into that, and then the thing stuff. That's the bullpen for them, right? The non-Roki Sasaki bullpen, and they got into that and put up a bunch of runs, right? Everybody had a hit, a run, or an RBI. One of my favorite. There's a bunch of interesting stats. Obviously, Barger first pinch hit home run in the World Series, or pinch hit grand slam in the World Series. A bunch of really cool stats from that game. Like the Jays offense had 13 hits. They only had 13 swings and misses all night. You know, this kind of stuff. So is the Dodgers pitching cooked and the Jays offense is obviously going to prevail? Well, that happened in 1 game, right? I think my favorite stat from the game, 9 runs scored, the 3rd most in a single inning in World Series history. The last time that it was done was by the Tigers over the Cardinals in 1968. If you think about how long ago that is.
And they both had 10 runs,
right? How 10 runs in that one. That's just such a long time ago. And yet it's still more recent than the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, anyway, my God.
Back to, I got to this.
Unnecessary. Unnecessary.
You were just, that was so good.
Dude, unnecessary shrapnel.
Been sitting on that since Friday, buddy. Yeah, but I mean that's what, if you're a Jays fan, and that's why their momentum was so perceived to be so high after game one. And then game two, right? First couple innings, they're almost doing the exact same thing to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, making him work. They tied the game up, right? He's got a high pitch count after three, relatively high pitch count after three. And then what happened, right? Well, what happened is he wasn't fighting his command at all. He was pretty dominant. And I don't know. Again, we don't know how much of that is just that he is basically unhittable, and how much of that is, I think it was 22 in a row he set down to end the game. And how much of that was that the Jays they got out of their approach a little bit. There was a lot more first pitch swinging than you typically see, first and second pitch.
A lot more.
How much of that is just that it's the frustration of facing that guy, and how much of it is that the Jays just didn't play well? We don't know. But the series is tied 1-1. It's been really good baseball. Again, we saw the runs that the Dodgers scored. Some of that back-to-back home runs is a big deal. But beyond that, not the best defense from the Blue Jays, which is always when they get in trouble, right? Because that is the backbone of everything for them. And then they bring that bad defense to the plate. I don't know. But yeah, as far as 5-1 games go and 11-4 games go, these were much closer, much more competitive affairs than the scores, either one of the scores indicates.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because on Friday night, when the Jays left, I believe the bases loaded in the first inning, I felt very good. Even though, and the people that I was watching with, casual baseball fans, not baseball fans, just casual.
Right.
And they were like, oh man, they needed a score there. And to me, I was like, no, man, you made the guy throw 29 pitches. He doesn't look overly sharp. Yeah, of course you want to bring in runs, but I felt okay. I was like, okay, this is okay. This is what the Blue Jays do. They'll be okay. And it turned out to be okay. On Sunday night or Saturday night, they left 2 on in the first inning, or was it bases loaded again? I think it was 2.
Yeah.
But regardless, they made Yamamoto, I think he threw 23 pitches in the first inning, 22 or 23, and I did not feel good. Just watching him, I was like, that was their opportunity. It's just funny how it's just different in baseball from game to game. On like I said, Monday night or Friday night, they left the bases loaded. He threw a bunch of pitches. It didn't bother me at all. I felt, okay, this is where we want them. Saturday night comes, you leave 2 men on, 6 less pitches than the night before. And I was like, ooh, that's their opportunity. It's just funny how it goes like that. And I just felt, listen, I think, listen, for the first 3-4 innings, if you are throwing or swinging at first and second pitches like the Jays were, Schneider, I can't remember the exact quote. Schneider said something about like that was their like strategy going into the game. That's fine. If that's your strategy going into the game, that's fine. Make an adjustment, for the love of God. However, that's the one side of it. The other side is, dude, Yamamoto is just friggin' good, man.
It's irritatingly fun to watch. Any other time you're gonna have fun watching him, right? When he's playing against the Jays, no fun.
Dude, 18 innings,
so good to watch work.
18 innings in 2 games. Like, what do you say? Like, you just have to kind of, you can fault the Blue Jays strategy. You can fault their approach. I had no problem personally. I know this isn't everybody's opinion. I had no problem with them bringing Gausman back out personally. I thought Gausman, because we talk about the 22 straight that Yamamoto sat down, Gausman sat down 17 straight. He pitched a phenomenal game.
I did think, and I do think this might be a bit of a sour grapes too. A sour grapes kind of a thing, but that mid-inning
hated it.
Yeah.
No,
making him wait, making the pitcher wait for a while. I don't know. It just seemed weird.
Here, hold on for a sec, though, Tom. Hold on for a sec.
Yeah.
I I personally did not have a problem with the stand up for cancer thing.
Yeah.
That I thought it could be better placed, like maybe the beginning, maybe
Maybe
seventh,
the seventh inning stretch, which is
right?
traditionally when there's a break anyway, right?
Right. But it's and listen, I'll be the first to say it, dude. No problem with the Jonas Brothers. I'm a Jonas Brothers guy. I honestly have. You want to give me like Jonas Brothers, One Direction, T Swift? I'm here for it. Might get some shrapnel for that. I'm fine with it. First of all, no idea what song that was by the Jonas Brothers. And I was with my sister, who's a massive JB fan, if you will, and she didn't know either. Second of all, just Jim Beam, yeah, Beam. Just unnecessary. I just to have that because the whole like stand up for cancer thing was 1 minute. It was like 1 minute.
Yeah.
The concert. I'm hearing Dodgers now, people on social media, not Dodgers media, but Dodgers social media people, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok, people doing what we do, right?
Yeah.
Say that if they were the Blue Jays, they would blame that concert for what happened that night.
My general. So as you know me, right? I'm always going to take an excuse like that and say, like, if somebody else makes it, say mew mew mew, whatever, right? Like you just play the hand that you're dealt. But yeah, it was a little weird though, So mew mew mew. Anyway, play the hand that you're dealt. Yeah, I actually after all the whining. I don't think it really. I mean, it's Kevin Gausman. This isn't some guy who hasn't been around the block. You trust him. If you trust him to go out again, you trust him to go out again after a Jonas Brothers concert. I really think ifs and buts or whatever, But yeah, I mean, it's the World Series, and it's still early in the World Series. It's 1-1. There's no winning game one didn't win them really anything other than game one. Losing game two didn't lose them anything other than game two, and the exact inverse for the Dodgers, who now have to, they've wrestled home field advantage in the World Series away from the Jays. If they win out at home, it doesn't go back to Toronto. Okay, I don't love the pitching matchup for the Jays tonight, but I didn't love the pitching matchup for the Jays the last time Max Scherzer pitched either, and that worked out really well, right? Yeah, we'll see. Just really glad that it is not boring baseball. It hasn't been boring baseball despite the scores for the first two games, and I think neither team has really played their best yet. The home runs. I do want to bring, I know we're very low on time, but I want to bring up one thing I noticed from Will Smith, like just some discrete play from Will Smith in the first two games of the series. Of course, he hit the home run off of Gausman to start the real bleeding in game two. But in game one, second inning, he came up. What we have is a rookie starter on the mound for the Jays, right? Trey Savage, who's been fantastic, but he's a rookie. And he's always locked in, right? We've seen that before. It's been lauded. It's been noted by the media that he stays locked in. When somebody calls timeout, he just stays locked in. He's ready to go, right? Before a pitch was hit, Will Smith led off the second inning for the Dodgers in game one. Before he even took a pitch, he stepped into the box and then called his timeout. Batters obviously only have one timeout. There's no way he needed a timeout there, I don't think, right? That's him trying to get under the skin of her, into the mind of her, just break up the routine of the rookie pitcher on the mound who had gone through his first inning with no issues, right? I think it was 2 Ks, 3 up, 3 down. I thought that was really interesting. It didn't work immediately, but he did wind up on base. And of course, ultimately the Dodgers would be up 2-0, etc. But it was an interesting thing because, again, in game two, with Gausman on the mound, and it wasn't leading off the inning, but it was on his way up for his second at bat against Kevin Gausman. he again tried that, pulled his the same thing, called his timeout before Gosman had tried to take a pitch. And I had thrown a pitch, and I thought that's really interesting because Will Smith's not doing that accidentally, right? This is a guy who's a catcher. He's a guy who's an all-star, right? He's great with the bat, but he's also a really respected defensive player, a really good game caller, and obviously a guy who spends a lot of time with pitchers, right? Because he's the catcher. So he knows you would think he knows a thing or two about their rhythm and what he's trying to do. And those are the kind of plays, those are the kind of things that you see. We're in the World Series now. There's no bad teams left. There's no bad players left, right? But to see these kind of like really interesting little things, the game within the game, and the game within the game within the game, right? Each at bat is a discrete event, but how you use even your timeout on the very biggest of stages, in the very biggest of moments, any moment in the World Series has the potential to be the biggest moment of the World Series, right? Just really interesting to me.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. And I mean, listen, dude, like these guys have been there before. I think that's the thing that has to be remembered by is that the Blue Jays, in a lot of ways, they deserve to be here. I believe that they are the best team possible to play the Dodgers. Not a slight on the Blue Jays. They are in the Dodgers playground right now, though. This is where the Dodgers belong. This is where the Dodgers were supposed to be when spring training started. So you're going to see some stuff kind of from past experience. We got 5 minutes left, and I want to ask you a couple quick questions to close out the show. The first being, I'm hearing from the little bit of Dodgers media that or I should say, like Los Angeles media that I listened to today, that the Blue Jays win or the Dodgers win on Saturday night. It softened the noise from the overreaction to the Blue Jays win on Saturday night, meaning that because of the win on Friday night by the Blue Jays, all of a sudden the Blue Jays were the favorites, 7-game series, Blue Jays in 6, and there was this overreaction by the public to what the Blue Jays did on Friday night. And that got under my skin a lot, because to me, the overreaction was not about what the Blue Jays did, but before the series even started, the overreaction was that the Dodgers are just going to win this in 4 or 5 games, and it's not even a contest. Like, that to me was a way bigger overreaction than anything that had to do with what happened Friday night.
Yeah, it's that response from this softens noise of the overreaction. It's an answer to a question that wasn't asked. I don't think anybody thought after game 1 that suddenly the Jays. I didn't see it anywhere. Oh, the Jays are going to sweep. Oh, everything is flipped on its head. No, they won one game. It was a pretty convincing game, but realistically, it was a pretty convincing inning, is what it was, right? I mean, the Jays are known for pretty good innings, though. And it was always going to be a series. So there was an overreaction. I agree with you completely. Before the series, the line was set too far, right? Yes, they're favorites. But I don't think they're as much of favorites as they had been discussed. Winning game 1, and yet the score was misleading. We just talked about it, right? The score was misleading. The Jays didn't win 11-4's worth of. They're not 11. They weren't 11-4 better than the Dodgers in game 1, but they scored 11 runs, and the Dodgers only scored 4. So that's what happens sometimes. But the Dodgers weren't 5-1 better than the Jays in game 2 either, although they scored 5 runs and the Jays only scored 1. It's a close series. It was always going to be a relatively close series, in the same way that the Phillies series went 4 and was not close at all, right? The Phillies won 1 game, but at no point did it look, even for the rosiest glasses that you could find, nobody really. I mean, it was pretty obvious as soon as they stepped on the field in game 1 who the better team was. It was surprising to me that the Dodgers were that far head and shoulders above the Phillies, but it was obvious. You couldn't talk your way out of it. That's not the case in this series. It won't be the case in this series. if the Jays go on to win the next 3 games, or if the Dodgers go on to win the next 3 games, that won't feel like it. I would be surprised if it wound up feeling like it was a blowout. Even though winning in 5 is a pretty dominant series win on paper. I don't think it's gonna. I think it'll look like a close series regardless of how many games it goes or who wins.
100%. 100%. Before we get you out of here, I am going to hang out for a few more minutes. If everyone wants to join, I'm going to lay out my best bets and just some general thoughts on this series. But my good buddy Tom is going to take off. Before we get you out of here, Tom, does this series go back to Toronto? And share with us your thoughts on the rest of this series. Go back to Toronto meaning Game 6. Where are you at for tonight and the rest of the series, or the next 3 games, I should say?
Yeah, I think it goes back to Toronto. I don't know who wins. The Dodgers are still favored. The Dodgers are more favored now than they had been, which seems odd. But they should still be favored. They're still the Dodgers, right? And they have home field advantage now, having split in Toronto. But I do think it goes back to Toronto. Tonight, we have the Max Scherzer start for the Jays against this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he also hits.
That's tomorrow.
In the same way that it was the last time, I think Chris Bassett will be ready to go. I think Eric Lauer will be ready to go. When Max Scherzer pitches well, he pitches well. We saw it last time. When he doesn't, pretty quickly. And I think they'll have internally. I would assume that the Jays are treating this as a bullpen game, and hoping that it's not. Hoping that Max can go deep.
I am curious, Tom, because Glasnow is pitching tonight, and I feel like as good as he has been, I think like a 0.68 ERA or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I believe that the Jays can get to him, and it's kind of the
pitcher that they can. He's the kind of pitcher that they tend to. He's in the zone a lot, and that's what they like, right? Yes, they had their most success against a starter out of the 2 games that they've had against a left-handed pitcher, but they typically have more success against right-handed pitching, as every team does, realistically. But
absolutely,
he's the kind of pitcher that he's a very good example of a pretty standard right-handed pitcher, right? He comes at you with fastballs. He throws the ball in the zone. He stays in the zone. He throws a lot of strikes. Will they get after him? I don't know. But they absolutely can. They certainly know him well enough, right, from all the years in Tampa Bay when he had a lot of success against the Jays, but they've had their share of success against him too. So
as a Dodger, he has the ERA over 5 against the Jays. So for whatever that means, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tom, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, brother. I appreciate you. If the series ends in 5 or if we go back to Toronto, either way, we will see you on Thursday. And I can't wait for it, bro. Have a great night.
Yeah, my friend. Have a great night. Thanks for everybody.
All right. I'm going to wrap up here in a few minutes. I was going to leave with Tom, but hey, it's early. Why not chat a little bit more about this? Yeah. Glasnow is obviously a very good pitcher. He's been phenomenal in the postseason, as the Dodgers starting pitching has been overall in general. I just think, like we talked about, the style of the Blue Jays bats, I think they can get to him. And if listen, this is not a hot take. This is not a homer take. This is just a fact. And you have people all over national media saying this, not just me. So you can leave the homer stuff at the door on that one. The way the Jays win baseball games, not the series, I mean the series as well, but like games, is to get to the bullpen. That's it. That's how you do it against this pitching staff. And Yamamoto, like, dude, the best offense in the league, which happens to be the Blue Jays, at least from an average standpoint and hitting standpoint and contact standpoint. nobody, you go back in history, man, the best best offenses in history weren't hitting against Yamamoto the other night, dude. Like, he was phenomenal, unbelievable. And if you're just a general baseball fan, everybody is just in awe of what that guy's been doing over his last 2 starts. And the way the Jays beat this team is through the bullpen. And I feel like this is a night we can see similar to game 1, not from the standpoint that they're going to go off and hit, like 9 runs in the 6th inning or nothing like that. I just mean just like the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, stack up those pitch count or that pitch count and get the guy out of the ball game and kind of see what happens. If you're the Dodgers, you don't have your best guy right now. Sasaki, I feel like I'm butchering that name. If I am, I apologize. He's really good, but that's kind of where it ends right now for the Dodgers. So if the Blue Jays are going to win, then you need to get to that bullpen. Now, on the Blue Jays side of the pitching, I have a few thoughts on this. I don't love Scherzer starting tonight. I thought it would be Bieber, as it was in the first 2 series, and then Scherzer. However, I have a few thoughts on this. Number 1, I think, and I heard this said by somebody else, and I agree with it, that Scherzer's ceiling, at least through 5 innings or so, his ceiling is higher than Scherzer at his best. The ceiling is higher than with Bieber. I believe that. I also think that the floor for Bieber is higher than Scherzer. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that Scherzer, when he hits the floor, that floor is low. It's low. And Bieber's floor, I think, is a bit more manageable. So I also think, that being said, if the Jays do win tonight, I would, or if they lose tonight, rather, I would feel more comfortable in essentially a must-win game with Bieber coming up than Scherzer, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. I could be wrong about that. That's just how I kind of feel about it. And now, I don't think that's necessarily what Schneider and the coaching staff for the Jays is thinking. I don't think that's how they approach things, because you got to win the game that is in front of you. But as a fan and as a baseball observer, that's just my personal opinion on it. I do think, though, if the Jays lose tonight, tomorrow's a must win. You cannot go down to the Dodgers and the pitching staff down 3-1. You just can't, especially with that 5th game being in LA. Now, if something crazy happens and the Blue Jays go up 3-1, if you're the Dodgers, you feel okay. I still think the odds clearly would be in the Blue Jays' favor, but if you're the Dodgers, you feel okay. But if you're the Blue Jays, one of these next 2 games, tonight or tomorrow, you got to win one. You got to win one. And then if they both win one of the next 2 games, then you're guaranteed a trip back to Toronto, and you can either win it at home on Halloween or save your season and live to fight another day. So that's how I feel about this. And we'll see what happens moving forward. And it is super curious, right? Like, Tom and I talked about it. Like, and if you're joining late, I did have my buddy Tom on talking for the first half an hour or so. So when I'm done here in the next few minutes, please go back to the beginning, watch us talk some baseball for the first half hour. He had a lot of good thoughts and good opinions. It like once again, if you watch the whole playoffs, the Dodgers bats just haven't been what we have known them to be. They just haven't. And so for the Blue Jays, it's all about neutralizing this dominant starting pitching staff. And like we said off the top of this show, like we said, like during the World Series preview, that's what makes this an incredible matchup. The best starting pitching with the most consistent hitting in baseball since July. So if you're the Blue Jays, this is an opportunity because Shohei Ohtani, incredible pitcher, has the opportunity, like he can be dominant. Both of these pitchers, you're going to see 5, maybe 6 innings. Yamamoto is the real threat to go to the distance. Not that Ohtani can't go the distance, but Yamamoto's the one that you have to be the most concerned about. So it's this, especially tonight, this is an opportunity to get to that bullpen as early as you can and let your bats do the rest. All right. To wrap up the show, I will give you my best bets. I had one saved from earlier today. I really like, let me see here. I really like, and please, if you have a best bet or you have something to say about what I just said, leave a note in the chat before this is over, and I will absolutely get to it. Blue Jays plus 1.5. I like Blue Jays plus 1.5. Let me double check what it is. Minus 122. It was minus 120 at the beginning of the show. It's now minus 122. I like Blue Jays plus 1.5. Max Scherzer, 5 strikeouts. Now on FanDuel in Toronto, in Ontario, I don't know if this is, I'm sure this isn't the same in the States, but if you're in Ontario, Max Scherzer 4+ strikeouts is boosted to plus 100. I like that. Double your money. I'm pretty sure it's like a $20 max bet or $25 max bet or something like that. But I don't hate it. So I like Blue Jays plus 1.5. I like Scherzer 5+ strikeouts. And Nathan Lucas back in the starting lineup, 2+ total bases. That is plus 804. And with a 30% profit boost, that is plus 1045. And I really like that bet for tonight. This has been an excellent first 2 games. Excellent baseball. It's so funny, man. Like I've said this before. I'm a huge hockey fan. Obviously, I'm a hockey writer. By the way, when baseball is over, Tom will join me every other week for a basketball show talking about the NBA on Mondays. And every other week, we're going to talk the NBA one week and the NHL the following week, and then keep our football shows going. So we will start talking about other sports more and more. But yeah, I'm a huge football fan, hockey fan, basketball fan, baseball fan. I love hockey playoffs. I think the grind of the Stanley Cup playoffs, there's nothing like it. The football playoffs, obviously the one and done aspect to it is incredible. Basketball playoffs, personally, I think the first 2 rounds are like the best. And it kind of lessens as it goes on. I've said it before, I'll say it again, man. There's nothing like the MLB playoffs, man. There's just nothing like it. The intensity, pitch by pitch, and it's just amazing. Like the atmosphere, just it's the most stressful. Maybe overtime hockey is stressful in the playoffs, but I feel like baseball is like literally the MLB playoffs is like just 3 hours of sudden death overtime. That's what it is. It's just sudden death overtime for 3 hours. And it's just there's nothing like it. And if you're a Blue Jays fan, you did not expect to be watching me talk about the World Series. Well, you probably didn't expect to be watching me. Don't be watching me at all. But to be talking World Series right now. So I'm just like, once again, I keep saying it, just so happy for this fan base. And like I said, man, my dad's a Dodgers fan. My grandma, rest her soul, she's a Dodgers fan. So for me, this is a really special series as well. Everybody, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me and with Tom as well. If you're watching right now and you missed the beginning of the show, please go back and watch it, YouTube and on X, either like my Twitter account or Total Apex Media as well. And of course, Solder on Sports on YouTube. If you are watching on X, please do me a favor. Link is in my bio. Go over to my YouTube and subscribe. I appreciate it so much if you do that for me. Also, I am newly on TikTok. Go over to TikTok and give me a follow. I think that's what it's called on TikTok. Is it followers? I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know. I'm new to the whole TikTok world, I'll be honest with you, but it was inevitable. I had to do it. But anyway, go over there, follow me there as well. Any what's the word? Interaction that you can do for me, I greatly appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out. First Round Collectibles, promo code SPORTS10, 10% off your order, up to 60% off selected cards. Promo code SPORTS10 at FirstRoundCollectibles.com. And Total Apex Sports and Total Apex Media. Shout out to them. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, they got it all going on over there. Fantasy, gambling, sports betting, DFS, all that good stuff over there. Thank you guys. As always, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time.